Welcome to this video. It is time for us to switch the backdrop on your Scratch program. And the backdrop is exactly kind of what you're seeing here. You're going to switch what is happening behind your sprite, behind your characters that are on your stage, and think of it as your stage dressing. So by changing the backdrop, you can make it look like your characters have gone somewhere new. So you have come to this point. You've clicked on your link that I've given you to get to this project, which I've started for you. Make sure that you press that remix button that is right there, otherwise you're not saving your work, so take a second to press remix. Once you have remixed, you will see that remix name in your file name. Now, what we have here is we just have some simple sprites here. When we run it, those sprites use the say block to say some things to us about traveling. Now, what we want to do is rig this program so that when you click one, it will look like they have gone to a different destination by switching the backdrop. Now, we have all of our sprites are down here, but something that we've never noticed or never paid much attention to is the stage. The stage is almost like its own character, kind of, but literally think about it like you're putting on a play. The stage is where the people stand. The stage has one backdrop and it is blank right now. So what I would like for you to do is click on the stage. You'll notice this is strange. The stage has his own brain, and right now his brain is blank, but you can actually boss the stage around with some code blocks. And you'll notice that right up here at the top, instead of the Costumes tab, you have the Backdrops tab. And that's basically what a backdrop is. A backdrop is a costume for the stage, how you're going to dress up the stage. When I click there, he has one backdrop named Backdrop 1, which is very boring. Incredibly boring. Now, you have some options here, and it looks a little like Microsoft Paint. You could, if you wanted, do some painting. Whatever painting you want to do. Maybe they're on the black backdrop, and maybe I want to use the paintbrush to do some squiggles, whatnot. So you can paint up a backdrop. But what we would like is we want to add some new backdrops to give it some variety. So if you will notice this button right up here, you have some options. You could choose a backdrop from the library. That's the one that I use most frequently. You could choose to paint a new backdrop, which gives you a blank one to paint on. You can upload one that you have saved on your computer. You can take a picture with your web camera. So there are all sorts of ways that you can get backdrops, but this is one of my favorites. Now, what did the cat say? He wanted to click me to go to school. So you could, let's go look for some kind of school backdrop. I know there's one. There's got to be a school backdrop. He's somewhere. Indoors, outdoors. Find me something that looks like a school. I know there's one in there somewhere. Found him. You have different school options. Doesn't matter. So get a little creative. We need a backdrop for each of these people to go to. He said go to the school, he said go to the beach, and he said go play in the snow. So if you will click this again, then you can go find other backdrops. So grab a couple of backdrops that you think would be important, pause the video, and go grab some backdrops. Welcome back. You have added some backdrops. They don't have to be these exact backdrops, but you have many options. All of these have names. Now what I would like to do is, let's click on the cat. I don't care about his costumes. I would like to go to his scripts. And in the Events tab, I don't know if we've ever used this one before. Here's a fun one. When this sprite is clicked. So it's different than when the game starts. When the sprite is clicked, and your best friend to deal with backdrops is going to be here in the Looks tab. When you get to the Looks tab, you'll notice that there are a couple of things that talk about backdrops. You can switch the backdrop to a certain thing. You can also just say, oh no, I'm sorry, there's only one block for backdrops, but that block has many options, including next, previous, and all the names. So I could basically just say, when that cat is clicked, we will make this option to make him go to school. So when we run the program, they all say their bit, and when I click the cat, he causes this change to happen. Now, what I would like for you to do is, you need to add code to both of these sprites, brains, to allow them to have the same type of effect so that you can click them to go to different backdrops. So pause the video and go take a second to add code to make them respond to the clicks as well. So at this moment, now that you've added that code, I can click each one to go to their appropriate backdrops, and I can just keep clicking all day and get that response from them. Now, one thing that I will say is when I run the program, it lingers on the last backdrop that I had. So let's add a little spice. Here's what I'll say. We'll clean it up just a little bit. I'm going to click on the stage down here. He has nothing in his brain, but I will say when the stage is clicked, go to that plain backdrop so that every time you start off the program, it gets reset. Now, one more thing. If you want to make this a little fun when you get started, we could grab a repeat block. Let me show you how to use this backdrop block in a fun way. Instead of saying switch to the slopes backdrop, you could just say go to whatever backdrop is next, and anytime you get some kind of animation you probably want a wait. So basically it'll just keep going to the next backdrop. You can play with how many times you want that to happen. When it's done, it will then go back to the plain backdrop. So watch how fun this is. It will cycle through 5 times, going to whatever backdrop is next, and when it gets done doing that 5 times, it lands on that, and you can begin to play that game. Congratulations. So make sure that all of your sprites work when I click them, and go upload that for me.